going on, y'all? Welcome to the Triple Z Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Henry. The New York Knicks take a 2-0 lead in the series, even with Jalen Brunson missing the entire second quarter with a sore foot injury. Brunson returned and scored 24 of his 29 points in the second half, leading the Knicks to a 130-121 victory over the Pacers. Josh Hart, in 48 minutes, had 19 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists. Dante DiVincenzo, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 of 12 from 3. And before leaving the game with a leg injury, OG Anunoby had a playoff career high, 28 points. It's like, where do I want to start? I want to start with the Pacers, actually. I've seen a few comments about it, and I agree with it. Like, T.J McConnell should be on the court for the Indiana Pacers finishing these games. Like, I'm just very confused what Rick Carlisle was thinking having Nembhard in. And it's not that Nembhard is bad or that he can't defend Brunson or, have moments for the Pacers where he can impact the game. I just think T.J McConnell having more experience, being somebody that can do a better job on Brunson, should be on the court. Being physical with him, being able to contest his shot when he tries to get to the painted area or his elbow jumper. I think T.J. McConnell's doing a much better job of defending Jalen Brunson. Now, here's the thing with Brunson, guarding Brunson. You're not going to stop a great player from getting theirs. Like, Brunson's going to get 30, he's going to get his 40. It's the matter of making it a difficult 30 or 40 points. I think if you have T.J. McConnell in the game when it's crunch time, I think he can make those possessions for Jalen Brunson when he has the ball in his hands a little bit more difficult. Tyrese Halliburton had a much better game than he did in Game 1. I think Game 1 he had 6 points. This game, 36 points. Had 22 in the first half. There were moments late in the fourth quarter where he gave up the ball kind of quickly. He got the ball out of his hands quickly. And I get with the Pacers, the ball never sticks. It's constantly moving. They move the ball around. Everybody touches the ball. And then they find the open man, whether it's in transition or open three, whatever the case may be. I think, and Reggie Miller said it best, when you're on the road and you're the best player, you have to be aggressive. You can't defer to your teammates. Like, you have to be aggressive. And like I said, Halliburton had a much better game. Went 6 of 9 from 3. Hit some big shots to keep Indiana in this game. But in the moments where you're in a close game, you're doing everything to stay in this game with the New York Knicks. Because you guys didn't know this, the Knicks have been, I saw the stat yesterday, out of 8 playoff games, the Knicks have been in 7 clutch games, basically. Going back to the first round and including Game 1 of the second round against Indiana. So they're familiar with being in close games and understanding who to give the ball to, a la Jalen Brunson, and what they want to do to close out this game. For Indiana, they haven't been in that position that many times in the playoffs, even going against the Bucks in the first round. Like, they weren't in a lot of close games, right? So you see the disadvantage and advantage of being in a game where it's close for the New York Knicks, where they know what they want to do defensively and offensively, giving the ball to Jalen Brunson and letting him go to work. And the disadvantage with the Pacers, where they're in a close game, but they don't know how to execute. They don't know how to slow the game down and get good looks for Halliburton, Miles Turner, or give the ball up to Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam hasn't been having a good playoff series against the Knicks. Like, he hit some, turnaround mid-range shots in this game, but overall, I feel like it's, especially with OG Anunoby on him, like, he was having some struggle scoring on OG Anunoby, his former teammate. So Pascal hasn't been really having a great series like he did in round 1. The Knicks also proved that they can keep up with the Pacers. I believe the Knicks are ranked as like one of the teams that has a slow pace in the NBA when they run their offense. But when you talk about Indiana, if they're in like the 120s, 130s, 140s, 150s, that's a great game for them. We know that this Pacers team likes to get out in transition, push the pace, whether it's off a made basket or a missed basket. Like, they like to get up and down the floor, right? With Halliburton running the show. But the Knicks proved that they can score 120, 130s with the Indiana Pacers and keep up with them and match their pace if needed. So I think that's having Indiana in a position where they're not used to a team really keeping up with them. But with this Knicks team, when you have Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart cleaning the glass and then pushing the pace coast to coast, DiVincenzo looking to run the floor and get some open looks from 3, the offensive reboundings that can, generate more second chance opportunities. I mean, this Knicks roster is a really great team They're a really great team, and I like how they're playing throughout this entire playoff run for the 2024 NBA playoffs. Like, they've been playing absolutely phenomenal. And I thought about it too, because when Jalen Brunson got injured with the sore foot, I think I left my room, right? I went to do something, probably use the bathroom or get something to eat. I came back, I didn't see Jalen Brunson on the court, and I thought to myself, like, all right, like, finally, like, Jalen Brunson's probably getting a minute or two to rest up. A couple minutes go by, I'm like, dang, like, where the hell's Jalen Brunson? Then you see it on like the bottom of the screen that Jalen Brunson's back in the locker room with a sore foot, questionable for return. And I thought to myself, like, all right, like the Knicks have to figure out some way to respond, right? They have to figure out some way, like how they're gonna get their offense going, like what they're gonna do, who they're gonna run it through, so on and so forth. The Pacers, in that moment where you see Jalen Brunson not on the court, you have to attack the Knicks. You have to attack the Knicks and get the up on them before Jalen Brunson returns, or even if he doesn't return, like you just have to, pile it on to the New York Knicks. I think he went out, he didn't play the entire second quarter. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, Jalen Brunson didn't play the entire second quarter, and the Knicks were only down by 10 points, which isn't too bad. He came back in the second half, scored 24 points in the second half. And I thought to myself, Jalen Brunson, before game 2, was on a streak of having 40 points and 5 assists in 4 straight games in the playoffs. If he didn't miss that second quarter, he would have had another game where he scored 40, which is absolutely insane to me because Jalen Brunson is a superstar. Like, what he's doing for this New York Knicks team is one of the best things that's happening in NBA basketball right now because you have one of the most iconic franchises going on a great playoff run being led by Jalen Brunson. I think with the Knicks, what they're doing, whether it's Josh Hart getting offensive rebounding, Dante DiVincenzo this is like his 3rd game where he hits a big-time three-point shot. He hits timely three-point shots that gets the crowd into it, that gets his teammates into it, and it just generates great energy in MSG, in Madison Square Garden. It generates great energy for this New York Knicks team. He's been clutch. When the Knicks are like down or like the game is tied and the game is close, the ball is finding Dante DiVincenzo, and he's going to knock down that three-point shot to get the crowd into it and change momentum for the New York Knicks. So overall, it was a great game. In a game where Tyrese Halliburton has a much better game, shooting from 3, finding his teammates. He had a lot of moments where he had, those no-look passes, whether it's towards Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, a throw-ahead pass to the corner. He was doing a great job of facilitating the basketball, but I just think where Indiana lost this game late in the game in the 4th quarter is not having T.J McConnell in. T.J McConnell throughout the first 2 games in this semifinals matchup against the Knicks has been great. I think game 1 he had like 10 points, but like some good key moments defensively on Jalen Brunson where he's able to be a little bit physical with him and bother him a little bit offensively. And in game 2, he was 5 of 9 from the field for 10 points with 12 assists and 2 turnovers. I think T.J McConnell needs to be in the 4th quarter for the Indiana Pacers for them to have a better chance of closing out the Knicks and making the series a little bit more competitive. Because if the Pacers want a chance to win this series, I truly do believe T.J McConnell needs to be on the court finishing these games when it's really close, and you just need players where their IQ level can match the moment in the playoffs. And there was a moment in this game with Miles Turner, because I remember LeBron James on his podcast with JJ Redick where the more you advance in the playoffs, the better your IQ needs to be. Miles Turner, I think it was under 3 minutes left. It's a really close game. Indiana's probably down by like 2-3 points. Miles Turner on the right wing takes a step back 3 contested with like at least 10 to 8 seconds left on the shot clock. And I thought to myself, that was a low IQ moment because you didn't need that type of shot from that player in that moment. Really? Like, that's the best look you can get with Tyrese Halliburton on the court, Pascal Siakam on the court. Like, Miles Turner shooting a step back 3 was not needed in that possession, in that moment for the Indiana Pacers. So I thought that was a very low IQ moment. But the Knicks had multiple players step up for them. Like I said, Josh Hart, 48 minutes. I think he had 19 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists. I saw the stat earlier today that he hasn't been subbed out in 10 straight quarters. 48. He hasn't been subbed out in 10 straight quarters. And in those moments where he's not subbed out, he's been playing great. Absolutely great. I think he's averaging 17 points, 12 rebounds. He's 6'4", and he's averaging 12 rebounds in the playoffs. I mean, when you talk about Josh Hart, man, you're talking about somebody that, it's pretty typical to say, but he is the glue guy for this New York Knicks team. He does everything you need. He makes big-time plays after big-time plays after big-time plays. Same thing with DiVincenzo. Like I said, it was his third game having a big three that really changed the momentum in the game and led the Knicks to winning the game in the end. Jalen Brunson, like I said, 24 points in the second half. Isaiah Hartenstein had a near triple-double, 12 points, like 10 rebounds, 7 assists. He was absolutely great. Precious Achiuwa got some big offensive rebounds late in the game to give the Knicks a better chance to close out this game. This Knicks team is one of the best Knicks teams I've ever seen in my lifespan. Jalen Brunson is a superstar. He's elite. I love him. I love how he plays. I love how he approaches the game. He's an absolute dog. An absolute dog. We got to give credit also to Tom Thibodeau, putting this team in a position where they're able to play, those heavy minutes of 44 minutes, 46 minutes, 48 minutes like Josh Hart, and play some high-level intensity basketball. We got to give credit to Tom Thibodeau, absolutely. And Rick Carlisle, he got ejected with 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter. I'm like, come on, dude. The game's over already. There's no point of expressing your frustration with 26 seconds left to the point where you're getting ejected. That's not a good sign for your team. That's not a good sign for your team being down 0-2 going back to Indiana. You're just showing the Knicks fans as well, that you're getting frustrated and that this Knicks fan base, the Knicks players, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, they're just getting under your skin. So I didn't think that was a good look for him to get ejected with 26 seconds left. Josh Hart and DiVincenzo, they're in their own class of elite as well. Players like Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Bobby Portis, Draymond Green, T.J McConnell, Austin Reeves, Derek White, Drew Holiday, those players are elite as well. I know LeBron and Jalen Brunson, Kevin Durant, Steph, those players are elite. But when we talk about the Josh Hart, the Derek Whites of the world, the Austin Reeves, the Draymond Green, the Bobby Portis, the Malik Monks of the world, those guys are elite. Because if you want to win a championship, if you want to win multiple games in a playoff series, you need those guys on your team. And OG Anunoby, I think they said it was a sore quad or something like that. He could potentially miss game 3, which can work in Indiana's favor, because if OG Anunoby's out, that means it's a easier game for Tyrese Halliburton, Obi Toppin, Pascal Siakam, because OG Anunoby is a great defender. They have a great winning record when he's on the court. So without him and that quad injury, I think it should give Indiana a better chance in game 3. If I had to make a prediction who's winning game 3, Pacers in 3. I think Pacers win game 3. If OG Anunoby's not playing, DiVincenzo's a really good player, but I don't think he's scoring 28 points again. He's usually around 12 to 17 points, but went 6 of 12 from 3. Like I said, he knocked down some big threes, but I'm gonna take Indiana in game 3. Indiana in game 3. Thank you guys for listening to the Triple Z podcast. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know down in the comment section who you have winning game 3. And honestly, do you think this is the best Knicks roster, Knicks team that we've seen in the last 10 years? I'll see you guys next time. Zzz.